So if something is not good, you can unmute yourself and let me know. Okay, sure. So let me go through a PPT. Yeah, yeah. So do let me know if you have any issues to see. Okay. So I want to start a basic introduction about Spring Framework, who developed and when this has released into the market, right? And what are all the modules it have. Yeah, basically Spring Framework came into the market in the early years of 2000, uh, uh, between 2003 to 2005. Just give me a minute. Is it good now? Hello? Is my voice good? Still is it breaking? Hello? Hello?
It's good, sir.
It is good, right? Okay, sure. Okay. So basically, yeah, the initial release was happened in the year 2002. Since then, Spring became more popular in the market. Harsha, can you able to hear me? Hello? Who all having the audio issue? Just a minute. Okay. So if I'm good, I'll continue. So are you able to hear now, Bim Reddy? Okay, cool. Yeah. So basically, initial framework designed by Rod Johnson, and he released this in the year 2002. Since then, it became more popular in the market compared with other Java framework. Already you might heard about Struts, Hibernate. There are other frameworks like Wicket, Play. Uh, those are especially MVC frameworks, and Hibernate is a ORM. Um, when it comes to Spring, it has almost all the features which MVC frameworks are having and ORM frameworks which they have. Yeah. So initially, it is designed and developed by Rod Johnson. Currently, he's in Neo4j organization, and he released in the year 2002. Okay, and you can see all the repositories link where actually Spring framework code we have in GitHub. You can see the code implementation also, how they implemented the framework related code also you can read, and you can understand what internally they implemented it. Okay, and you have more documentation on Spring IO. You can go here on website, and you can see the documentation related to all the modules in the Spring framework. Okay, now coming to a framework, when we should call um a particular library or a programming as a framework. We know that in Java, from Sun Microsystems or now from Arkle, we have core releases J2SE and J2EE. Okay, those are from Java um, developer or Java uh, programming, whoever provided the JVM and all. Oracle providing updates on J2SE and J2EE versions. Apart from that, the open source frameworks like Spring or Hibernate are designed or developed by some third parties. So those third parties are providing updates on these frameworks. Okay. So how they design these frameworks and what is meaning of a framework? Okay. When we say framework, what does it mean? So a framework means, in general terms, the basic structure or a basic arrangement for anything, right? Let's say uh, um, you are building a home or you are building a car. Okay, so the basic structure for the car, if you want to, let's say you are building something, a car, you want to deliver multiple cars same model. Maruti, consider you are developing a Maruti Shift and you need to deliver 1 lakh Maruti cars. So are you going to design the car from the scratch every time for delivering all the Maruti cars or Swift cars? No. We will design a framework, or we will design a common frame that we will reuse for all the cars designing and development. Similar way, when we find the problems which are reoccurring, excuse, which are reoccurring in development, particularly in any web application development or any enterprise applications, if we need something that everybody commonly using and they are writing the same code every time to achieve so and so task. So instead of writing the same logic every time, if we can design that as a common code or common library, and if you can able to reuse, if your code is reusable in terms for the web use cases or any enterprise use cases, for multiple applications, if we're going to provide support, you can call that one as a framework. So in programming language, basically when we want to call something as a framework, it should have some ready-made components or ready-made solutions. In that ready-made, by using that ready-made components or solutions, we can write some minimal code. We can write some minimal code which are particularly for our use case or for our requirement by using the existing components or solutions. We need to write very minimal code which is particularly requirement for our development. Okay, so if we have such support, such components or such solutions from any tool, we can call that as a framework in a programming, right? So basically, when we say a programming, it will have all the set of libraries. When we say a framework, it will have all the set of libraries, including tools, okay, and including documentation, everything they have to provide, so that we can say that as a framework. If you consider struts, we used to download many libraries and we used to include in our framework application. And if you see Hibernate, there also we used to download multiple libraries and we used to include on our project. So the basically frameworks will come up with set of libraries and tools also. So in Spring we have STS is a tool, and Spring IO there is a tool, Spring Initializer we say. So using these tools, we can speed up our development, okay, and including their components or solutions, we can improve the application coding and the development and the testing lifecycle time we can reduce, okay, and everybody can follow the same pattern which they have given, okay. So if you see this, basically frameworks will use libraries to build it, and using the same libraries or by using the framework, we can build our code. So if you are delivering a application, if you are implementing and delivering a application using Spring or any other framework, your application will include your application libraries and framework code. If you are delivering your application, means you are delivering along with your framework and libraries. Your application will contain altogether libraries, we can say jar files, right? Here all the jar files which framework has used, and all the jar files which your code also using, and your code will implement on top of framework code, so that you can speed up your development time and you can use all the advantages of framework. Yeah, so why basically frameworks are using in software development? The purpose of framework is to assist development, providing standard low level functionality, which means the framework whichever framework you choose, the framework should provide a requirement based on your requirement, right? It should provide support to speed up your implementation, a standard support we need from the framework, and the basic low level functionality also it has to implement. If you see an example, if you already know about struts, when we create a action form and a action class, and when we submit data from a user interface without reading using request.get parameter, the data will automatically populated into your action form, and their validations also it used to perform, okay. So that is the basic requirement for any web application. So if there are any such low level implementations required, if you can provide that through the framework, you no need to repeatedly write to read your form parameters. Whatever form parameters you have, that automatically should populate it into your code. That's a basic use case when you implement any web application, okay. So such implementations they should provide, so that we can use that framework to more focus on our development instead of doing the same logic to read or to validate or to do the DB operations and all, right? If it is a common occurring code, if you can make it as a framework, and the minimal code whichever required the developer input or developer intervention, there you should go and you should add your logic, very minimal logic that should solve your use case. So how to select a good framework when you have multiple options you have for implementing an application, how to choose which one is suitable for your development. Okay, so whatever framework you choose, that framework should provide the basic functionality whichever required for your use cases. Consider you want to make a web application. So if you want to make a web application, for web application, the basic functionality or features what we need, we should able to design front end forms, and we should able to read the data when we submit the form, and we should able to do validations. Okay, we should able to do server side validations, and from there we should process it. And if you want to save something in database, we should able to save it. So here in this requirement for designing form and for reading data and for doing validation or for implementing API and for inserting into database, which all frameworks are providing support. If you consider this use case, for reading and for doing validations, we have struts, and to save data into database, you can choose JDBC or you can go with Hibernate. Hibernate is a framework and struts is also a framework. So you can club these two to implement this use case. And you can use Spring also, as Spring it has all the modules to cover from front end to back end implementation. And the next thing, consistency. Whichever framework you choose, that framework should be consist enough to handle multiple teams when you are making a big application. If it is not so consistency, if they are doing frequent changes on the framework level which are need to be changed in your application also, that is not a good framework. Because if everybody want to follow the same pattern and if they want to follow same style, if framework is not consistently maintaining their code, if they are doing frequent changes and if they are duplicating something and if they are removing something from the existing features, that is not a consistent framework and consistently released. So you need to choose a framework which is very consistent in maintaining their code also, and the framework should provide good documentation also. So if you choose a framework which is not at all having the documentation or not at all providing any example code, so you need to spend lot of time to learn about that framework. If they can provide good documentation and good examples, quickly we can learn about it and we can use that in our development. So when we say a good framework should provide the basic functionality support, and it should be consistent, and the good documentation also they should provide. Along with this, they should have good active community also, and they should have support also. When we have some issues on the framework level, we should able to reach out to them and we should tell our problem. So and so we have from the framework, we face so and so issue. Are they able to provide support to resolve it maybe in their next releases? If we have such active community, we can choose that framework. If you see struts discontinued in the year 2008 and 9 itself, struts 1x, because they are not maintaining community. That's the reason the market is not choosing the struts, and they are not providing even updates also. There are no new updates from that framework, and it have only basic front end to controller part. Up to there only they have features. Okay, so if framework is not able to providing all these, right, it may not become more popular. Okay, So when we say frameworks in a programming, so what kind of frameworks we may have, right? We can have web frameworks which are providing support end to end for designing front end to back end. The complete support, if they're able to provide, we can say they are web frameworks. Yeah. So the web framework will provide front end designing support and as well as back end designing support also. So in Java, right? In particularly Java, we have struts. It's a similar to web framework. So in struts, what you can do, you can design the front end pages and the back end service code also. So if you can able to do this front end and back end both, you can call that as a web framework. Even Spring also providing that support. Okay, basically what you can include in this web frameworks is, so the client side means the browser development. We will use JavaScript for doing basic validations and all for the front end purpose only, and we will use CSS and HTML for designing pages. And coming to server side, we will use some servers to deploy our application, like web servers or application servers. And there are many languages which are providing server side support. Java also one of them is providing support for implementing backend server side implementations. And we can use a database. We can use a database for storing the data and retrieving it thereafter. Okay, so here for implementing the client side and server side in Java, we have struts with Hibernate. You can use for doing database operations also, and you can use Spring also. Okay, so which is providing end-to-end support. You can design the front-end screens by including HTML, CSS, JavaScript logic, and back-end service implementation. So the front-end frameworks, just a minute, please. I'll come back. Yeah, sorry. So we have front-end frameworks and separate back-end frameworks also. So coming to front-end frameworks, they will provide support up to front-end. You can design only web component of it, which are including your pages or screens for your particularly web applications. We have many such frameworks for designing front-end. Okay, Angular is one of it, and React.js, and there is a Vue.js. Apart from it, we can use a simple JavaScript library, CSS, jQuery, Bootstrap also. So Bootstrap also is a front-end framework, but that is having the basic CSS and basic JavaScript support and basic HTML templates also we have there. And coming to backend, so it purely should provide support for server side, for implementing APIs or for implementing reading data and saving into database and to interact with other applications as well. Okay, so one of it, the great is Spring, and we have Hibernate for doing all the CRUD operations. And similar like Hibernate, we have JPA and iBatis or MyBatis. This Hibernate, JPA, and iBatis all are ORM frameworks for doing database CRUD operations and there are other features also they are providing. And Spring is a end-to-end framework we can use for complete application development. Even using Spring Boot, you can implement microservices also. Okay, so the finally, right, when we say framework will include libraries. Using libraries only, framework also will be designed. They will use many libraries internally, and they'll write so much logic to provide basic support to the common occurring problems. On top of it, when you want to implement an application, your code should be on top of framework, and your code can use apart from framework feature. If you need some more additional features, you can include those libraries also, and you can utilize them. Okay, on the high level, when you implement application looks like this. It will have all the framework related jar files, and apart from that, if you need any additional jar files also, we can include. So if you choose a framework, not only framework libraries, if you need any additional libraries also, you can include it. Your code will use framework and as well as the additional libraries as well. Okay, so the conclusion is, when you choose a framework, the framework will provide you support to implement application, you know, with good speed in development. And the application should, your application should be scalable, reliable, and secure. So who should take care of all this? Means framework only, from the framework level. So if there are any security breaches, then that framework is not so secure. So the frameworks also should provide good scalability, and they should not force us in implementation. You should use compulsory, or you should buy something so and so software. Okay, so such dependencies also they should not put, and the framework should be robust, right? And they should make your application independent of any other services. So such frameworks will become more popular. Okay, so in Spring we have all this support. So if you can go with Spring is providing many things. Basic security it is providing, and it's a lightweight. It doesn't require any special containers. There are many other things we can discuss. Okay, yeah. Now coming to Spring, which all are modules we are going to cover from the Spring framework, right? As we thought about the framework, and if I want to choose a Spring framework, if I want to choose Spring framework for my application development, what are all the modules that I should consider? Okay, so the basic module is Spring IOC that we should learn first, so that you should be able to deal with Spring environment or Spring logic. So which is including all the containers, how IOC containers works, and what is dependency injection, and what is auto wiring, and there are many other features from IOC we should learn. Once done with that IOC, we can jump into Spring JDBC. There we can learn how to create connection pools and how to do CRUD operations using JDBC template style. And there are other templates also we have support, so we can learn them there for doing particularly database operations. And we have Spring ORM and Spring Data also. Okay, so there we will learn how to do CRUD operations using ORM tools, how to integrate Spring with Hibernate, or how to integrate Spring with JPA, or how to use Spring Data, which is no code. There usually we don't need to write much logic, so that we will learn there. And Spring AOP, if you want to add some kind of interceptors, if you already know about filters, we have similar concepts here that we will learn. There are many other terms that we need to learn there. It's a simple framework to provide, cross-cutting services to our application. So Spring AOP also we learned, and Spring MVC to handle end-to-end, right, from the front end to back end implementation. Using Spring MVC, we can do that. There we have many things to learn, like how to implement controllers and view resolvers and interceptors, handler mappings, and we will see end-to-end application development there, completely front-end scripts, and how to implement controllers and all. There are many multiple types of controllers to handle this, and there are many view resolvers, many interceptors we have. We learn all of them in MVC. And apart from this, the advanced concepts in Spring and many using for the application development nowadays is Spring Boot. So there we will learn what is Spring Boot, how you can make application development rapid or speed, and how we can minimize configurations, how we can use existing tools support, right, and how we can use Spring Cloud features and all we will learn there. There are many other features, okay, and microservices, the basic design principles or design patterns that we should follow in microservices development, and what how we used to develop existing monolithic applications and how to move towards microservices, right, how to implement services, how to test them, okay, and when you deploy multiple services, how to interact between those services, and how to have the load balancing kind of thing, and the API gateways, security, okay. There are many concepts that we need to learn from the microservices. All these topics are going to cover in our next sessions, okay. So that's all for today. From tomorrow I'll start with IOC module, okay. So before that, I'll give a quick MVC walkthrough. MVC in terms of the MVC architecture, in that architecture where and how we are going to use these modules, we will discuss in our next session, okay. So are we guys clear? Any questions? Do you have any particular requirement? Guys, I'm audible? Hello?
Yes, sir, audible.
Yeah. So let us spend some time to understand your requirements also. So yeah, who want to talk first? Harsha, do you have any particular requirement, or you are a fresher? I want to understand your uh, requirement also, what you are expecting, so that I'll prepare myself to make you understand more from your way. So do you guys want to speak? Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Yeah,
Sir, all core Spring is covered uh,
yes,
in a syllabus.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, completely, we will cover end to end. I'm not covering Spring Batch and the other which are not really required or which are not really using. If you have any that requirement also, in general, right, in Spring Content Batch is not covered, but I'll try to give few examples in Spring Batch also, as we are covering almost 99% of content. I'll
Hello.
yeah.
I have a one. Yes, I have one question. What about the Spring exceptional? Spring Boot exceptional handling.
in
Are
Spring
you we
Boot.
covered to the global external handling or not?
Correct. We will do that. Controller advice, using controller advice, how we will handle the exceptions which are we navigating from our
Mm.
DAO to how to handle that, how generally we implemented in our applications also. I'll give you that. I mean, I am unable
Okay, okay.
to put all the topics here, but of course we
Mm.
need to add that, right, in a development global exception handling. We will cover that.
Okay, thank you.
Hello, sir. Daily notes are given or whole notes are given at a time.
I will send you a material, okay, um, uh, and I'll send you the examples which I do in the session, right? That examples also I'll zip and send to your emails, and the material also I'll send the PDF version, and I'll try to convert this presentation also into a PDF or a document version, and I'll send it so that easily you could able to go through these slides and you should able to recall the session. Okay.
Okay, means notes is not given. Only the referring PDFs are
Notes in the
given.
sense you want to write class note.
Yes, yes. Means
So,
my
I
need
think
my need
I
is
think we have
only referring the one single PDF, not many PDFs. Okay.
No, I'm saying the same. I will convert my
hello, sir.
book
I have one
PDF version,
other concern.
and I'm saying these slides also I'll send,
Okay.
including examples.
So, at the end of the session, can we get the video recording content?
Today video recording not done, as this is introduction session. I'll ask team to record this so that the videos will be available to you in the cloud so that you can go through the videos also. I'll ask
Cloud
my
means
team.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
So
The
we
below.
all have a one link,
Yeah.
repository link.
Yes, you will
Okay.
get the private link. So from there you can go and watch the session
Okay.
videos.
So it will be lifetime or it has a valid period?
That I'm not sure. I'll check with the team as they dropped from the call. I will talk with them.
Okay.
So up to what time the videos will be available. Okay.
Mm.
So I'll tell you that
Okay.
tomorrow.
So, and one last question from my side. We are all working professional, and some is doubt if come from the outsider, not your session, but
Mhm.
from my organization. So can we get resolved in this end of the session?
Outside means their working use cases. Do we need to solve or?
Yes, yes, yes. Working use case scenarios.
Yeah, maybe I can send you some helps. In session
Okay.
we will not entertain because everybody are spending their time to learn only particular topics, right? But definitely I can guide
Correct,
you
correct,
from my best
correct. Okay, okay.
on
Thank
a
you.
personal call, or in a personal discussion we can do that, not in the sessions. Okay, but regarding
Okay,
to that sessions, if you have any doubts we will discuss here.
okay,
Okay. So if you need any
okay,
additional support, you can reach out me on my mobile or my email ID, right? I'll provide here.
okay. Mm.
Yeah. Any?
Excuse me, this is Ravi.
Yeah, Ravi.
Yeah. I have learned core Java. I'm already working as a PHP developer since 2010,
Okay.
and I have learned core Java.
Yeah.
But I did not do any project on that core Java.
Hmm.
Can I able to understand the Spring Boot, whatever microservices and everything?
Yeah.
Is it sufficient or anything more to learn?
Yeah. So even my suggestion also for this generation, I mean, whoever learning now, right? For them, core Java
Okay.
and Spring should be enough. We doesn't need any other frameworks here. The basic
Okay.
um, uh, requirement for the Spring is core Java should be enough. And as you know about database already, right? You nothing to
Okay.
worry how we are writing queries and doing the CRUD operations.
Yes, yes, those things I know. JDBC also I know.
And as you can
And
relate your to your PHP whatever frameworks that you have worked, right?
yes,
You can compare with so that
yes,
easily you can able to remember also. So Spring
yes.
is a
Even
simple framework. That's how they designed it.
okay,
Yeah, it's not that complex to remember or not that complex to implement. Okay.
okay,
At the
okay.
end, in the
So
conclusion, what you will understand is you will realize, oh, okay, only 10 annotations and a basic few configurations I have. Only this much I need to remember.
okay,
That you will realize.
okay, okay,
But that is the conclusion.
okay,
But to understand internals and to understand how this evolution happened and all right, we need to go
okay.
through all these topics.
Okay. Can I able to do one project on this after completion of the Spring Boot and microservices? Because already I have one project which I done in PHP,
Yeah,
and can I convert this one to Java? Like, I mean,
sure. As in
am,
examples
am I?
also, I'll cover end to end. So I'll plan
Okay.
a kind of a small project here, which includes all right. When we develop a
Okay.
MVC application as a single piece, later we will break it into multiple modules and we'll do it as a microservice application as well, so that you can able to relate this with existing monolithic and microservices.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how
Okay.
I'll create the examples also.
Okay. So you are giving confidence that yes, we can able to reach that extent.
Yeah, I have almost uh, all the topics that I have covered. All I have all the examples. Though I have of that examples also I
Okay.
don't use. I'll again
Okay.
rewrite everything in the session itself. I'm not going to use any existing, so that you can
So as
understand
this
how
is
to start one by one, right? Line by line, you will learn.
okay. Okay.
I'll spend that much time in the
A-
session for especially for
And
these
and
examples and all.
okay. 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 And as this is a online training, suppose if we get any chance of meeting in offline on Saturdays and Saturday, not Sunday, Saturday, is it possible?
Offline is currently not possible as I'm also working
Okay,
Monday to Friday, and
okay,
I have some personal things that I need to
mm,
spend. But if you need any personal support, you can reach out to me
okay,
so that we
okay,
can connect and we can discuss. If you have any topics that you want to understand more, I can provide that
okay,
personal support from my side.
okay, okay, okay. Right. Thank you very much. Nice to talk to you. Right.
Yeah, thanks, Ravi.
Hi, this is Harshita.
Yeah,
Actually, I'm working. I have 7 years of experience, but I have not worked on any Spring project, or I don't have any Spring exposure. So my entire uh, uh, motto to join this course is for the interview purpose, because now when I'm going out, it is all over Spring Boot, and microservices. So that is the entire thing. That's why I have joined this course. So that is the main expectation, that I should be able to crack the interviews
yeah.
for
You can write. You no need to prepare separately again uh, for interviews. If you just go through these topics, you can able to frame the sentences in a nice words on yourself, and you can answer everything beyond their expectations. You can do that. But
Okay, okay,
yeah,
thank you.
if you need any that interviews links or interview questions, also I can able to provide you. But really not required. You should able to answer everything.
Okay,
So
okay, fine. And if suppose interviewer ask me to explain me something regarding my project or something, so uh can I explain that?
yeah. So as I'm saying, right, I'll include all the topics while discussing MVC or microservices. So the end-to-end application we will do there. so that you can frame same thing to whatever domain you want, whatever project you want, and you can expect. Okay.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So I shared my email ID and contact also. Yeah, and you guys, you can share your email IDs and uh, yeah, email IDs mostly enough. You can send me in a personal. So I'll send daily examples and the presentations with you after every session.
But I did not get your email ID and mobile, where it is actually.
I shared. Go to chat. There you can able to see.
Okay, 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 sure, sure.
Yeah. Any other questions? So most of you people are working, right? Anyone looking for the job? Freshers?
Yes, I want to change my domain. Actually, I want to change my domain to from PHP to Java.
Okay.
That is why I'm very much concentrating on this. That's it.
Sure, sure. Yeah, I'll personally provide my support also if anyone want to change
Thank you.
the job.
Thank you.
Yeah, I can give some guidance also. Even if you are a fresher or with experience, if you need some references also, I can do my best from my side. Anyone left? I got one email, two email IDs. I got Ravi and Omkar. Parsha, I got Suraj. Uttam. Okay, I got Vedant, Rajesh. I
From
got
when will start this session?
tomorrow.
Hello,
Yeah.
tomorrow. Okay,
Yes.
done, done. Right.
Yeah. And you guys can refer any of your friends if they want to learn in a fast track. Basically, in a regular track, it used to take almost 3-4 months, but we'll cover the complete content or in a half amount of time, less than half. Okay. So the complete content will be covered. Yeah. If
Okay.
anyone are looking uh, for particularly Spring, right? Let them invite here. We will cover Spring and including boot and microservices also.
Okay.
Earlier we used to have content up to MVC only, but as many moved application development to microservices, nobody using Spring MVC until unless if it is a old application. So the main focus should be on boot and microservices only.
That's true.
So I got Praveen's, Suraj, Venkat. I hope I got all of yours. Yeah.
Hello,
Yeah.
sir. Paste link is provided every day or same link for
Uh, yeah, you will get the same link until see they send one chart to you. Uh, Kindly make payment through net banking or direct deposit and send screenshots. So if you can do this, they will send actual regular link. Maybe they will allow us for few demo sessions, maybe today, tomorrow for the demo sessions.
yes, sir.
Okay.
Means time limit for paid the fee.
Time limit in the sense, I mean, if you want to attend the sessions later, also you can attend
Yes,
those
yes, yes,
sessions. Always you can attend.
yes.
From my side, I'll allow. I don't have any problem in that.
That's okay.
Yeah. So maybe they will provide this demo access till maybe one or two sessions, but between you should make the payment and send them the screenshot so that they'll share you actual link which we use for regular sessions. And the session also, I hope, recording. They'll upload it into uh, cloud. You will get this demo session also.
What is the time frame to learn this course and complete this course?
We need at least 30 to 35 days working hours, daily
Sure.
1.5 or to 2 hours,
Thank you. Thank you.
7:30 to 9.
Morning is 7:30.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
7:30 to 9. If we need, we can extend until 9:30 also. Depends on the
Okay.
topic
Given
that
that
we are discussing.
Yeah,
9:30, 9:30.
9 is not will be time shortly because I we have to go for office also. So it will be
Yes.
better you can do an early 7 to 9 or 7 to 8:30. It will be better if you can do.
Sure, sure. We will try to close 15 minutes before, okay?
Thank
8:45,
Mhm.
about
We
8:40.
can join earlier if the time will be short. So we feels the time is short, then we can join earlier.
Sure, sure. That we can plan, right? Once we started with this, we'll
Yes.
see how much content and how much time everyone we have, so that we will change our timelines and we can plan it even weekend sessions also if we need one or two. Usually, I used to
Okay.
cover this content in weekends also, 2 days in a 16 hours workshop. But
Okay.
yeah, if you already know about it, it's okay. But for the first time learning, right, you can't able to remember everything. So I would suggest
Yes.
attend the sessions, and when I conduct weekend workshop also, just attend there to brush up so that you would able to connect all the topics and you can able to remember. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Any questions? Are we good?
Sir, your contact number is same as Google Pay number.
No, no. I shared my contact. I shared my contact in chat. Google, don't Google Pay to me. Okay. So they shared other numbers, right? In the chart. Go to chart where it is. Yeah. My number is this one, 9182662482. Their Google Pay number is yeah, it's 8896979797. That is their Google Pay number. Google Pay or Phone Pay. You have access to chart, right?
Chat. Yes, yes, yes. But there is I'm unable to find the your number in chat.
Okay. Yeah, you can note down if you want, or else let me put here in notepad. So this is my email ID. Once we start with the regular sessions, right, I'll create a group and I'll post all the updates in the group also, so that you can we can talk everyone in that group. Okay, maybe after few sessions I'll do that. Okay, so if we are good, we will close today's session. Okay,
Okay,
and
sir. Thank you, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you.
yeah, we'll
Thanks,
connect.
everyone.
Yeah, thanks. We'll connect at sharp 7:30 tomorrow. Okay,
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
so I
Thank
hope
you.
I'll see everyone in tomorrow's session. Okay, guys. Thank you and good day.